Well, hey there, Kathy Lewis.
Hey, Pete, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for doing this for us, and I'm so excited to be here tonight.
I'm so excited. So this is my name is Pete Cronowit. This is a Face the Music show for state legislative candidate Kathy Lewis, and Kathy is running for Florida State Senate District 20,
That's
which
right.
is like there's yeah.
Pete, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great.
All right. So, and Kathy, I believe that is from like Ocala to Tampa. Is that correct?
Well, not quite Ocala. We have three counties: Hillsborough County, Polk County, and Pasco counties. And we're right around Tampa, the Tampa area.
And thank you. And you are a disability rights advocate, an author,
Disability
a
rights
motivational
advocate.
speaker, and you decided to run because and you ran previously for the Florida State Senate.
That's
This is
right.
your second run because you were fighting for disability care for your daughter.
Absolutely. And first of all, Shana Tova, thank you very much for having me, Pete. I want to thank you and all your staff at Face the Nation, as well as Carrie, who is doing our ASL tonight. So thank you very much. Yes, we ran in 2018. I was this angry parent. I got upset about and frustrated with the way the state was handling things for people with disabilities. And I had to write to DC to get people to, look at our daughter's case. And in 2 days, her case was funded. And I became very upset about that and thought I had to run for office because I felt like no one, and I mean no one, was doing anything really about this. So I decided to run. No hope of winning anything. Just wanted to run to tell this story. And we completely overperformed in 2018 with 46.5% of the vote against a very powerful politician. So that was actually outstanding. And that politician has resigned, and now we're in the special election for November 3rd.
Exactly right. That's great.
Yes.
Well, and I think it's a really important thing. I mean, everyone needs that fire,
That's right.
to go solve a problem. So, I think that is, it's not just commendable. I mean, you're not solving the problem just for yourself. You're solving it for everybody. So,
well, one of the challenges I had when we were facing the trouble with my daughter's benefits, once you reach 18, the state has benefits. They're already there. We weren't asking for anything that wasn't there, but you couldn't access them. So that's why we had to take it on and try to do something about it. And I couldn't sleep at night. I was worried about other families, and that's why I ran.
and I'd also like to just make sure we mention that tonight is a special night for people of Jewish heritage. It's Rosh Hashanah, and I think it's getting to be about dusk on the East Coast.
Yes.
So hopefully we have some folks who are home and watching, but after a while they're probably going to have to sign off if they celebrate the religion.
Yeah, of course.
So, well, I think the first order of business is really we do have someone who is supporting your campaign and wants to say a few words. So I'd like to introduce, and I'll bring you back up in a little bit so we can have a chat.
And I just want to thank Alan again. Alan was one of the first candidates to endorse us way back in July and June. So he was always with us. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Well, okay. So there's Alan. You can thank him yourself.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
Well, Kathy, it was my pleasure in July. We couldn't wait to endorse you because we knew how much you bring to this and what a great state senator you're going to be. And I want to thank you for inviting me to be here tonight. And I want to say hello to everybody who is watching this. And I'm going to talk in a moment about the politics of it and why it's so important that Kathy wins and why it's so important that she serves. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about, and this goes to what you were just talking about, that Kathy is an advocate. And she has had to advocate for her daughter who has a disability. And I know exactly what we're talking about here. I have a nephew who has a disability, and I know exactly what my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law has had to do over many years to make sure that he has gotten what the law allows for families who have a child with a disability, whether it's through the schools and the what is they're entitled to through the state and the federal government. It is not easy. And there is almost an attitude amongst, whether it's the schools or other aspects of the government, to make it as difficult as possible for families to get these benefits, because after all, it's money that they have to spend, even though it's what the law allows. So taking her skills as an advocate and bringing it to the Florida legislature in the state Senate is exactly the kind of legislator we need. Someone who will fight for all of us, someone who will not take no for an answer. There have been too many politicians out there who seem to be in it for themselves. I mean, look what's happening in Washington right now. We need somebody who is going to fight for every citizen every day in Tallahassee. It's very similar to what my career has been all about, that I have tried to bring forward through my investigative journalism, righting wrong, shedding the light on, advocating for consumers, and calling people out, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, if they're not serving the public good. And this is, we are at a crucial point of time in our state and in our country where we need people like this because we need to fix our government, and we need to be seen as the party that has the backs of ordinary men and women and families throughout this area. Kathy's district and my district overlap a great deal, and her election is so important, not only to my election, but also to the presidential election. We have often talked about on the campaign trail that no Democrat could win the White House without winning Florida. And you cannot win Florida without winning the I-4 corridor, because this area, our area, has become a bellwether. And whatever party dominates usually carries the election. And so Kathy doing well and winning this seat makes it easier for me to win this seat in Congress, and makes it easier for Joe Biden to win the presidency. In fact, Vice President Biden was in Tampa this week, and I had an opportunity to talk to him about it. And I let him know how we're doing in our race and how he is doing in his race. And I could tell you he is depending upon us to get the vote out there. And I promised him that we will deliver for him. Because obviously this is the most important election of our time. It is important whether it's the presidency, Congress, state and House, county commission, every office that is up for a vote this in just a couple of weeks. It is important that we get out there. But in Kathy, we have somebody incredibly special, as I just said. And I am, again, so proud that we supported her from the get-go of this campaign. And I would encourage everybody who is watching this tonight to support her campaign, to dig deep. Even if you have given a contribution before, dig a little deeper. Because for better or worse, what these elections are about and what these campaigns are about is being able to communicate to voters why you are the best candidate. And she is up against a very well-funded candidate who, let there be no mistake, is funded by those Republican interests. And we Democrats, we have to fund our candidates and back them one person at a time, by good people who are giving, whether it's $25 or $250, digging deep to support candidates for Kathy. And I have nothing but faith that once she gets there, she is going to make that Senate into something different. And for the first time in a very, very long time, that constituents in this Senate district will have a real advocate and a fighter for middle class and working families. And we will not regret the day that Kathy Lewis goes to Tallahassee. So again, Kathy, it's been an honor to be here tonight, and I wish you the success. And I can't tell you how much I look forward to serving alongside you, and to everyone. This is the beginning of the Jewish New Year, and Shana Tova is the expression that we use. And may you have a sweet year to come, and may we have the sweet taste of victory come November.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Alan. That's great. And just one thing, and there are people who might be outside of the area who may not know you. Not only were you an investigative journalist, but you were a news anchor for the Sarasota ABC 7 station, correct?
Correct. For the
Yeah.
last 4 years, I anchored the news on ABC 7, and I, frankly, brought Democrats and Republicans together every night to debate the issues, whether they were federal, state, or very local issues. And it was good-natured, energetic debate. And I think we need more of that in our community and in places like Tallahassee and Washington. And we also need candidates like Kathy that are unafraid to shed the light, because most of my career I've been an investigative journalist. And I have worked with legislators both locally or in Tallahassee and in Washington, because once you shed the light, it makes it easier for whether you're in the state Senate or state House or the United States Congress to get real action, to get real change to benefit all constituents. So I see running for elective office as a natural extension of what I've done for my entire career, just like I see what Kathy is trying to do here as a natural extension of the advocacy that she has done for so many years on behalf of her daughter.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Alan. I really appreciate you, coming in and advocating for Kathy. As you said, advocating is really the thing that's needed right now. So good luck in your race. And, as I quipped before, we need you to win, and also we need Kathy to win. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, as this show, it's songs for Kathy, and so we're going to be playing some music. The idea is, there's people who would come to a music show that may not come to just hear politicians speak. So I'm gonna play some songs that I put together for a long time to try and think about how to get more people engaged. So anyway, this is from a new album that I'm going to release next week, and it's a little bit more positive than I'm used to writing. I apologize for that. Fried shrimp, clams, some Maryland crabs, a big old bucket of beer. Waitress comes around and says, "Is everything alright, dear?" You never ever never know all the places you'll go, all the things that life will show. Just never know. You never ever never know. Just learn to take it kinda slow. Take every chance you get to grow. You just never know. There's a long road to hoe. Just take a look at your big toe. Take off your shoe and go. Kick back, enjoy the show. You never ever never know all the places you will go, all the things that life will show. Just never know. You never ever never know. Just learn to take it kinda slow. Take every chance you get to grow. You just never know. Everything you wanna know, to the airport you should go. The information desk is key to set your heart and mind free. And the answers you will find, all the answers in your mind, they were there all along. That's the point of this here song. You never ever never know all the places you will go, all the things that life will show. Just never know. You never ever never know. Just learn to take it kinda slow. Take every chance you get to grow. You just never know all the places you will go, all the things that life will show. Take every chance you get to grow. You just never know. Woo! All right. All right. Well, so I'm going to play an old guitar. New to me, but it's an old guitar. Yeah, this is a 1950s concerto guitar. When I was 10 years old, my parents invited these five couples, strangers to us, over our small apartment in North Miami. And that was the beginnings of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. My dad was working for my uncle at the time, and he left his job to become executive director. My mom became the first president. And, you know, the next decade of our lives were just consumed with what we called the foundation. And when I look back at that experience, you know, the thing that I'm left with, the thing that I feel like I learned from that, is that with patience and persistence and a whole lot of passion, a small group of people can have a lasting impact. You can make this world a better place, and do it with style and grace. Just choose your words precisely with care. Sprinkle some love and be aware. Ladybugs filled the room that day, and I knew she'd fly away. Simply look around, think about what you see, then you can judge without certainty. A half cup of doubt, but know that you can blend in some hope, then mix by hand. Ladybugs filled the room that day, and I knew she'd fly away. We used to laugh almost every day. Maybe that's enough to remember her that way. That's what my mom taught me in life. You can't change the world one thing at a time. All right. So, yeah, this is a tough and crazy time for a lot of folks. You know, the environment and climate change have affected literally everybody all over the planet. You know, from the wildfires on the West Coast to the hurricane that's drenched the Gulf Coast and Pensacola specifically. You know, it's just it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and we need to address it. And this next song was inspired in this, sitting in this little park near my house. I was looking around at all these little animals, and I started thinking about how vulnerable they are, and also how all of us are. And so this song is kind of a tribute to them and us. in my garden chair. There's a roly-poly over there. Touch him and it rolls into a ball. There's no plan B for the roly-poly. Got a feeling we're headed for a fall. Rising tides will sink our shores. Bumblebees won't buzz no more. Butterflies won't have a place to rest. Sink or swim, will we still care? Will the roly-poly still be there? If we say we've done our very best. The garden grows all our food. The roly-poly lives there too. Like me and you, he wants grandkids too. Do I choose to sit and wait? Where the choices that we make? Is there something more that we can do? Can I make a difference to what happens next? Yeah, there's some things I could do. Rising tides will sink our shores. Bumblebees won't buzz no more. Butterflies won't have a place to rest. Sink or swim, will we still care? Will the roly-poly still be there? If we say we've done our very best. Can we handle what will happen next? All right. Okay, I got one more song. I'm going to play one more song. And before I play that song, I got something to say. You know, I mean, why do these shows if I'm not going to say something about this stuff? So, you know, I've been working with state legislative candidates throughout the country in the last couple years. And, you know, candidates will talk about, like Kathy did, you know, she talked about the motivation that why she ran. She'll, you know, the candidates will talk about the issues that they're running on and why it's important. And all that is really important. But what they don't talk about, and what I've seen, is they don't talk about how difficult it is. It's difficult. This is Kathy's second run. And, you know, they won't talk about the time that takes away from their family and their friends, the nights, the weekends that they spend on running. And, you know, and these are just like, they're like average folks. They're like people who are just stepping up and doing the right thing. So what I would say, these state legislative candidates, these campaigns, they're much smaller than congressional races in terms of budget. Anything you can give makes a huge difference to whether Kathy can win or not. So, you know, there's a link right there in the chat as well as on screen. Please, you know, whatever you can, just donate. That would be really a big help to the campaign. But let's just say, you know, this time that we're in is tough. It's a tough economic time. People have lost jobs. Businesses have closed all around the country. In Florida, tourism is blown up. Yeah, it's really so. If you have more time than you have money, there's ways that you can help the campaign. Just make some phone calls for Kathy. That could be a big help, and you can donate. You can volunteer right at Kathy's website. So that's the deal. Okay. Enough for the pledge drive. Okay. This last song, I'm not going to play with the guitar. So I'll tell a little story about how I met Kathy. Kathy posted on some Facebook page, and we started going back and forth a little bit. And I was like, you know, hey, I'm doing these shows, and, you know, and then we became Facebook friends. And then I sent her this song. This song is from my new album. Kind of subtle. Yep. Subtle. And then I just happened to send a bunch of people, you know, the link for my new video. And Kathy was like, I love that video. And so we started going back and forth. Oh, well, the biggest part about that is Kathy actually called me. I must have sent her my phone number in that Facebook message. And Kathy called me and we started talking. I said, hey, I'll do a show. I'd love to do a show for you. So here's my new song coming out next week on my album, Do Something Now.
Hi, I'm C.L. Townsend, candidate for House District 58. Join me in support.
That was the wrong. Let's try that again. You know, I knew that there would be a hiccup. There's always a hiccup in these shows, and that was my favorite hiccup so far. Let's try this one more time. Do Something Now from my new album, which is coming out next week. Here it is. I'm gonna tell you all, it's time to kick your ass in gear. It's time to tear down fear. Do something now. The moment has arrived. We can tell we're alive and do more than survive. Do something now. It's time we do something. Do something. Do something now. Do something. Do something. Do something now. Don't just bitch and moan. Time to get on the phone. To be sure, does knock on doors. It's forward. Oh, it's time we do something. Do something. Do something now. Do something. Do something. Do something now. Polar bears can't swim forever. Guns killed 7 kids today. 10 more lies and he's a Russian spy. Women's rights are being stripped away. It's time we do something, do something, do something now. 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 I'm gonna tell you all, it's time to kick your ass in gear. Yep, a little subtle. That's the way it goes. Anyway, yeah, so that's my my new video. And now we got a few people who have stated they want to support Kathy's campaign. These are moving tributes to this race, and you know, so check out these folks who actually support the campaign.
Hi, I'm C.L. Townsend, candidate for House District 58. Join me in supporting Kathy Lewis for Senate District 20. She's the kind of senator we need in Tallahassee to represent us. She will help expand health care, the services for disabled and handicapped, and social justice for all citizens in Florida. Donate now? Let's elect Kathy Lewis and send her to Tallahassee to represent us here in Senate District 20. Thank you.
This is State Representative Fentress Driscoll from Florida House District 63. It is my honor to endorse Kathy Lewis for State Senate District 20. Kathy will be a hard worker and a champion for Florida's families. We need her in the Senate. So please make sure you support Kathy Lewis for Senate District 20.
I'm Louis Fear and I'm a Tampa City councilman. It is my great pleasure to support my good friend Kathy Lewis for the state Senate. I do so for a lot of reasons, but the number one reason why I'm supporting my friend Kathy for the state Senate is because as a mother of a special needs child, Kathy is uniquely fit to take on one of the most important issues that's long ignored here in the state of Florida, which is the welfare and well-being of people with intellectual disabilities and special needs. My oldest brother is mentally disabled, so I personally know from my own personal experience and my family's history how long of a way the great state of Florida has got to go to making sure that all people with special needs or intellectual disabilities have the respect and dignity they deserve. Kathy Lewis will come on this issue like a wrecking ball because it comes from her heart as a mother. And for me, that's the top reason to support this good woman for the state Senate. I hope you'll join me in supporting our friend Kathy Lewis for the state Senate.
I'm John Hoffman. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in the Tampa Bay area. I provide mental health services to individuals with disabilities. Kathy Lewis will ensure that individuals with disabilities have access to mental health services, and have secure funding for their future. Please vote for Senator Kathy Lewis, District 20.
Hi everyone, I'm Lydia Dorsey Scott, personal trainer on the reality TV show Family by the Ton, and Kathy Lewis is my best friend. When I met Kathy over 20 years ago, she was serving on the board of the ARC, a nonprofit agency that serves people with developmental needs and their families. As an advocate, some of my favorite characteristics of Kathy's were evident. Her willingness to endure and persevere with kindness and compassion in order to do what is right for people. My son and daughter are Florida babies, born in Boynton Beach, and both were born prematurely. From infants to elders, healthcare and disability services are big concerns for Floridians and for Kathy. Right now, today, we need leaders who care and have integrity, even in these tough times. Kathy has lived her life serving her family and her community. Kathy won't crack under pressure. She will stay the course. She will do the right thing. I endorse Kathy Lewis for Florida State Senate, District 20.
This is Bertram Lewis. I'm Kathy Lewis's husband, and also I'm endorsing her for State Senate, District 20. I'm a urologist, and I've been practicing medicine for 17 years. My wife has supported me all through medical school and residency, and now it's my time to support her in her bid for State Senate. She intends on fighting for disability rights. She also intends on fighting for those people who normally cannot fight for themselves, such as people in nursing homes and also other people of special needs. My wife will support those Floridians and also will represent all people, not just one party in her district.
Hi, this is State Representative Adam Hattersley from House District 59 in Eastern Hillsborough County, and I endorse Kathy Lewis for Senate in Senate District 20 this November. Kathy is ready to defend our rights and stand up for public education, health care for everybody in Florida, and finally represent this district how it deserves to be represented. She's brilliant and ready to go and fight for you and stand up for what's right. So join me this November in voting for Kathy Lewis for Senate District 20.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong, former candidate for Hillsborough County Commission. And I just want to say, please support and vote for Kathy Lewis. She is qualified and she is going to be an awesome addition to the Florida Senate. So I'm so happy to endorse her, and go Kathy.
Hello, I'm Russ Patterson, and I'm the state committee man for Hillsborough County for the Florida Democratic Party. I strongly endorse Kathy Lewis to be state senator for my district, District 20. I know Kathy will work for us and not the special interests that so many people in Tallahassee have been working for in the past. Kathy will work to protect our environment. She'll work for the most vulnerable in our communities, and she'll just make sure that she does the right thing. So please vote for Kathy Lewis for senator. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ione Townsend, and I'm chair of the Hillsborough County Democratic Party. I'm very delighted tonight to endorse Kathy Lewis for Florida Senate District 20. After 20 or more years of Republican control, we have won the race to the bottom. We are 50th in the nation in terms of wages and cost of living, 49th in terms of access to health care, and 47th in per pupil spending and teacher pay. But we won the coronavirus race. These are not races that we want to win. But with a tireless champion of democratic values like Kathy Lewis in the Florida Senate, we can reverse these trends. Please support Kathy Lewis to make Florida a better place for you, for me, our children and grandchildren to live. Donate now. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Laura Blank, and I met Kathy Lewis in 2017. At that time, I was president of the New Tampa Democratic Club. I proudly endorse and support my friend Kathy Lewis for State Senate District 20. You can join me and support Kathy by going to kathyforflorida.com. To borrow the words from the late, great John Lewis, let's make good trouble and elect Kathy Lewis for State Senate, District 20. Thank you.
All right. Well, there's some folks who are really supportive of Kathy's race, and I'm really excited about that. So right now we're going to bring Kathy up, and we're going to have Kathy. Oh boy, yeah, there we go. We're going to bring Kathy up, and we're going to talk to Kathy about her race right now. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, Pete. You know, I hadn't seen the video at all, so that was quite wonderful. Thank you to everyone who took the time to do that. It was just astonishing, and I'm a bit overwhelmed, I must say. I am just delighted to be here and to see that everyone is so supportive. As I said, you know, this is our second time, and as Pete has been saying, we came out, you know, as just this parent being angry about things, and I felt like no one was doing anything, and I just told my husband, you know, we have to run. I have to run for something, and I saw that the state senate was available, and that's what we chose at the time, and completely overperformed, and surprisingly so, astonishingly so. So we just did very well compared to what everyone thought. And then when Senator Lee resigned back in the end of May, we had to start again because in 2018 when we started, there was a horrible school shooting, and now in 2020 when we're starting, we have a man murdered on television and a horrible pandemic. We are trending really in a negative, bad direction, and it's time for us to really get serious about voting in the right people who would do the right thing. All of the people that spoke, a lot of them are candidates, and we have to take care of them, make sure that we support them and vote for them as well. I'm just, I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the video. It was so heartwarming to me to have such support and to actually feel the love and the belief that most of you seem to have in me, and something I'm not quite used to. And it was wonderful to see. I'd also like to say just a little bit about, I talk a lot about issues, and you all know about disability rights, and I want to talk a little bit about my family. I don't talk about them really too much on the campaign, and I like to talk about that a bit. My husband, as you saw in the video, I've been married for 28 years, and my husband is quite amazing. He has a bachelor's, a master's, an MD, a PhD, and an MBA. So we value education completely. I have an older daughter, Catherine Lewis, who is 26. She's in San Francisco, where Pete is. And she's currently a student getting her MFA at USF, full scholarship, and doing very well. She also graduated from Johns Hopkins, like myself and my husband. So we have this sort of unusual legacy in our family at Johns Hopkins. And then my daughter, my youngest daughter is Remy Lewis, and Remy has a disability, very high functioning abilities. And that is why she is really why we are all here, because of me fighting the state to get her benefits. I'm delighted to have my wonderful two children and my husband. And when I look at where we are, it's amazing. Also, I believe my mother will hopefully speak a little later, and I have one sister, and my sister is the sweetest person. If any of you have seen Hamilton, every time I see that scene about how kind her sister is, I think of my sister. She is very kind and very nice and sweet, and hopefully we'll hear from her later, maybe. I'm, back to the issues. I have sort of these odd experiences that they culminate into one thing. I grew up rather poor in Baltimore, in poverty, scratch and claw my way to Johns Hopkins. I did that through education, trying to pay attention to my schoolwork and trying to do well in school. And I have this very unusual experience with gun violence. And I talked about that last election because of the horrible school shooting. But my mother was shot with a stray bullet. I have an aunt murdered in a home invasion. My cousin's daughter at 4 years old was shot with a stray bullet in the head and miraculously survived with debilitating brain injuries. So that's a lot of gun violence in my life, and I'm not telling you all of it because there is more. And it's an unusual situation to be in. As an elected official, I would bring all of that experience, being as though that I understand poverty. I know what that is. I have some measure of wealth now, so I know what that is, which, although you never forget growing up somewhat poor. And this unusual experience with gun violence. I think, once you've experienced all those things, it leaves you with a particular set of skills. I know how to get things done. I do. I know how to do things in a fearless, sort of caring way. I am very clear of who I am, and I center myself based on my own beliefs that I have. I don't crumble under pressure. And when you're running for office, there's a lot of pressure to do this and to do that, and lots of advice. So you can be pulled around a bit as a candidate, and that's some of the things that we don't usually talk about. But since we're all here and friends today, I thought I'd get a little more personal. So it can be difficult running for office, but it's very important. And I will not, and I've heard stories of how sort of dysfunctional our legislature can be. I will not cave under that. I sort of thrive in dysfunction. I know how to thrive in dysfunction, and I know how to get things done. So I have to go back to my favorite song by Pete, which is Do Something Now. And that's exactly how I felt back in 2018 when I was facing I'm trying to get my daughter's case resolved, and it happened in 2 days after I complained to Washington, D.C. Do something now. And that's what I felt. I had to do something now. So let's get Pete back on here, and we can continue doing something now.
Wow. That your personal story is so powerful, between your daughter and the horrible things that happened to your family. And I truly appreciate you sharing that so publicly, because, understanding the motivation for someone to get engaged in to run for office, it's a big commitment. It's a big commitment. And that's what I was saying earlier. It takes away from everything else in your life to focus on something that is not just about you. And, so I applaud you for that. And so so I kind of want to dig into the next level.
Sorry about my dog.
My dog is right behind me as well. If a dog wasn't barking in one of these shows, it wouldn't be an internet show from home. But when you say disability rights, I think sometimes people don't understand exactly what that means. Maybe we can get to the next level of what that actually means for your daughter. What kind of help would she get? And not just her, obviously others.
Yes. Well, disability rights is basically a health care issue. And accessing these benefits. With our case, sometimes we need to help with our daughter. She needed 24-hour care, as she has a challenge sleeping at night. So she needed care around the clock because someone could be there to help her. It's basically health care. It's health care through Medicaid that the state already has in place. The issue is accessing it. And it's by design, and many times they want us to fail, to become frustrated and quit and not try. And that same sort of issue, and I've had some people come to me to talk about this, is we see it in our unemployment system. It's the same problem that I was dealing with. So people now are saying, Kathy, I really understand what you meant last time when you were talking about accessibility and trying to get benefits. It's the same thing happening in unemployment. And when we have these sort of social programs and things in place for people once they need help, it is created to be difficult.
Yeah.
And the challenge I was having with it, my frustration with it was, it appears, and I'm sure some people are trying to do something about it, but I don't see that in my world, that no one was doing anything about this. And it just goes on and on and on. And the people who are having to experience it often don't have the mental bandwidth or the ability to do something about it.
Yeah, that's
So I
right.
thought, I will. Why
Well, I'm
not?
so glad you're taking an active role, and it helps you and others. So now I kind of have another question. The race that you're running, District 20 for the Florida Senate, why is that so important?
Well, we have the party looks like we may be able to flip 39 and 9, Senate District 9 and 39. 20 is the district I'm running in, would be the third seat, would make us equal in the Senate, which, by the way, because of the census, we now have redistricting coming up next year. If we're able to do that, we could probably stop these sort of redistricting that the Republicans may do, and it would last for 10 years. So this seat is very important, not because I'm running it, but because of what it would mean for the next 10 years, possibly.
Exactly. So the census triggers redrawing all of the districts, including the state and congressional districts. So
Exactly.
as Florida is a state where the population continues to grow, when the census is done, Florida gets additional congressional districts as well. And making sure that they're not gerrymandered, where they're the quip that many have about this is where politicians choose their voters versus voters choosing their politicians. And
Exactly.
people need to be represented. That's the whole idea of representation, right? Represented. So yeah, I agree with you. I didn't realize it was 3 seats in the Senate that would tie, that would absolutely stop not just gerrymandering,
right?
But
that's right.
All of these all the crazy legislation that doesn't really help people. So
it doesn't help the people. That's right.
Let's go right there. So right now we're experiencing a once in a lifetime pandemic. I mean, from the health situation that people have faced, the number of people who have passed away from this. I mean, Florida's population is full of older folks who are at risk in one way or another. And then there's the economic turmoil. So what do you think? How do you think we've done collectively in Florida with the pandemic? And what could we do differently?
We have done a terrible job. Just starting with, as I mentioned, the unemployment. When my fellow citizens found themselves in trouble, there seemed to have been no one there. We had a system in place, so on paper it looked fine, but then when you went to access it, it just completely crashed at a certain point. That is just appalling. I mean, just appalling. Politicizing face masks, which is just ridiculous. Wear a mask. My husband is a surgeon and talks about this. We talk about this all the time. Just wearing a mask would make a huge difference. Things like that. We're just failing. We're failing. And, we don't really see it every day on the news, but you can feel it, out when you go out. People are suffering. And we have to do something. I mean, a special session or something should have been called, I imagine, to try to deal with this in an appropriate way, but it wasn't. And so we have some tough times ahead of us. And I am quite the optimist. I mean, you have to be to escape poverty. But in this instance, we're a year from now, I can't imagine what that's going to look like after we see the full effects of this pandemic.
Who you elect matters. It matters in so many ways, very personally for people. And this time it's affecting people. If we collectively as a nation would have addressed this, it would have been 3 months of pain. And then we would have stepped in and had some policies that we could have had across the country. Especially what I saw in Florida was heartbreaking. The place where I grew up, the place where I have so many dear friends and many friends that don't agree with me politically. But I doesn't mean I don't care about them. I mean, I don't want my friends and their families to suffer. And I'm scared for, one of my best friends, his mom is very old and they're so fearful for her life. It's visceral. It's horrible. Anyway, we have one other big.
I just want to mention, I just saw on my phone that Justice Ginsburg has died.
Oh my goodness.
Did anyone see that? It just popped up. I'm sorry. That's awful.
Justice Ginsburg, she was a pillar of women's rights, of of, of a common sense position on the Supreme Court. She will be sorely missed.
Sorely missed. That's heartbreaking.
Well, hopefully Mitch McConnell will stick up to his thing where this is too late in the cycle for Supreme Court justice to be appointed by almost a lame duck president. But I don't know. I think that makes this election a little bit more important. People better wake up, do something. And speaking of that, there's one more big issue I want to bring up before we kind of wrap up our talk, and that's climate change. I talked about climate change with my song about Roly Poly, and we've seen fires across the whole west coast of the United States. The hurricane that just hit the Gulf Coast in Florida and flooded Pensacola. I mean, the hurricanes are getting stronger and more frequent, and we're not done with hurricane season this year. So maybe you can talk about your position on the environment and climate change.
It's the one thing that I believe that the Democrats and the Republicans sort of agree on in this state. I mean, Florida relies on, we have to have fresh water to drink and we have to have water to enjoy because this is a tourism state. And we sort of agree on this. The challenge is how to manage it and what to actually do to stop this. And that's where we fight. I mean, we have to come together here and figure out how to make these, what to do about these constant storms. I mean, there are 2 more storms out there in the Atlantic. I get a thing on my right now, and it's on and on and on, and we just haven't done enough. We're not doing enough at all. Now, as a first-term senator, and if we don't have the majority, there probably, and I don't mean to sound negative, there would be little that I could possibly do in a very big way. Of course, we can't do any more drilling and fracking and all that crazy nonsense. But one of the things that I would talk about, and my daughter's in San Francisco, every time she comes back here, she says, Mommy, just give these plastic bags, just give them to you for free, these single-use bags. This is outrageous. And I have to tell the story about when my daughter was 3 years old. She was in 1997. I was putting some trash in the garbage disposal, and she yelled, Mommy, you're going to hurt the earth. And she has been the monitor of our household for the environment since 1997.
Oh, so, wow.
It was amazing. And she had learned that in her preschool and Montessori school. I had no idea. So she has been taking care of us ever since. And I'm hoping that we can teach even more 3-year-olds to help their families in their household. But we have to do better with the environment. Absolutely. We can start with single-use bags and things like that. So
awesome. And there's lots of things locally we can do that can affect also policy in other places. So we have, I want to talk about one more thing before we have our last musical guest. And that's key dates coming up. And Carrie, I apologize to you. We're going to cover you up for a minute, but the writing is literally going to be on screen. So you'll have a break. Here are the key dates that are coming up for the election. On October 5th is the last day to register. So to get folks to register to vote. So if you know people who haven't registered, if you're not registered, you can go to here's the website right here, right? Where is it?
Yeah, it's on our webpage.
There it is, registertovote.gov. There it is. I knew it was around somewhere. And you can register to vote there, and also check on your registration. On October 19th that's when early voting starts. So you can also drop off your vote by mail ballot at any of the county early voting sites. And then on October 23rd is the last day to request your vote by mail ballot. So don't wait till the last minute. Do it now. Go to that website and request your vote, your vote by mail ballot now. And if you don't get it, then just be prepared that you have to vote in person. So put that on your calendar now. November 3rd, go vote.
And let's do this. We can do this.
We could do this. We could do this. So, oh boy. Wow. We covered a lot of ground.
Pete, it's been wonderful. Just wonderful. Thank you so much for you and your team and Face the Music. It's just amazing. You're an amazing person. And I'm so glad I called you.
Yeah,
do something now, and I had to call you. I called you immediately after I watched it. I loved it.
It was such a heartening. I mean, I don't think none of my friends called me. It was Kathy Lewis, who didn't know me, who called me. It was such a beautiful moment, and I just so appreciated it. And you have this like amazing history, this personal story that is, it should move anyone who hears it. And you're running on the right issues. So I'm really excited for you. Everyone who spoke for your campaign, they spoke as earnestly as I've ever heard. So,
Yes. Yes,
we have one more musical guest. It's a band called J2. They're a local Tampa band. It's a duo comprised of Jim Morris and Jennifer Frazier. And not only since they're a band, they pre-recorded this, but they did a fantastic job of not just picking the right songs that are just heartening, but also you'll see some messages that are right for the campaign.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone all the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 a sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds, each by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melodies pure and true. This is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, no, no. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, doorstep, singing sweet songs, melodies pure and true. This is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, no, no, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, every little thing is gonna be alright. If you wake up and don't want to smile, if it takes just a little while, open your eyes and look at the day. You'll see things in a different way. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Why not think about the times to come and not about the things that you've done? If your life is bad for you, just think what tomorrow will do. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. All I want is to see you smile. If it takes just a little while, I know you don't believe that's true. I never meant any harm to you. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Ooh, don't you look back. Ooh, don't you look back. Ooh, don't you look back. Ooh, don't you look back.
Wow, Pete.
Wow. J2, man, they were great. They were awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank Carrie. Oh my goodness, Carrie. Thank you so much. That was
Yes,
just
thank you,
amazing.
Carrie Moore of Access Interpreting Services. Thank you very much. We really appreciate everything. Also, we have a few more people on screen. I want to thank Scott Hoffman, who is managing the campaign, and Molly Adams, who's like the super volunteer who helped put this together with us, and of course, my friends and my like my world revolves around Jen Brightman and Linda Allen, who help all this Face the Music stuff happen, and of course, we would be remiss. Yes, Kathy Lewis. Woo! Yeah, we want you to win. We're so excited. I want to thank everyone for watching. This is the time. This is the moment. This is the moment we can all make a difference.
Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone who put this together. It was fantastic. And again, Carrie, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Carrie.
Access Interpreting.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
Vote for
We'll
Kathy
see you soon.
and get
Bring
your
it
friends
home,
to go
Kathy.
vote. Woo!
And do something now.
Do something now. Vote.
Pete, and thanks to Face the Music.
Thanks, everyone.
Vote for Kathy.
Good night.
Good night.